For many, the PS2 is remembered as the greatest era of gaming, with some of the most iconic franchises, from Resident Evil to Silent Hill, Metal Gear, and many more. It's no wonder the PS2 still reigns to this day as the console with the highest sales numbers in history. So, today let's take a walk down memory lane with 10 PS2 games that still hold up to this day. 10. Okami. In terms of art style and overall execution of a unique experience, there are no games on Okami's level. Okami was released on PS2 back in 2006, but gradually received ports and even HD remakes on more consoles. Okami can be compared to The Legend of Zelda in that it balances puzzle solving, combat action, and platforming. Yet it stands out by itself thanks to the Celestial Brush. The Celestial Brush was a groundbreaking outpouring of creativity that allowed players to draw on their screen using the left analog stick, although this naturally translated better to the Nintendo Wii and later the Switch. Players could then use this in the puzzles, combat, and general gameplay. Okami HD has obviously updated the game to present-day consoles, but the original is so unique that it still holds up. 9. Black. As far as FPS shooters go, Black is still far too underrated. This is a game that should have been a simultaneous multi-platform release, with an HD re-release on PC to boot, yet Black remains relegated to the PS2 and the Xbox only, which means it's out of reach for many players. Black impressed almost everyone with its unmatched gameplay, audio work, and destruction system. This was the first game where players could destroy almost everything. Black took its action movie cues from games like Call of Duty, but went all out on style. Weapon models are absolutely incredible, as are the environmental detail, explosions, and thundering sound. Missions are fast-paced and fun, with easy-to-understand parameters and goals. Replaying Black in the modern age still feels fresh and fun. 8. Gran Turismo 4. The only thing about Gran Turismo 4 that doesn't hold up is the roster of available cars. Everything else is spot on, and it's still one of the best racing simulators ever made. The Gran Turismo series may have had its thunder stolen by the Forza franchise in recent years, but a few hours with GT4 is enough to remind everyone why it was King of the Hill. Driving mechanics are still a highlight of the game, and it lives up to its moniker as a simulator by forcing players to become good or for them to hand over their driver's licenses. Graphically, it's a major step up from the previous games, and it's far more accessible than its predecessor, Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, which didn't net many new fans. If there's a fan of classic cars, GT4 has a lot to offer. 7. Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. There are in fact 3 Prince of Persia games that were released on the PS2, and while they're all amazing and hold up pretty well, it's the Two Thrones I want to talk about today. Between the fighting style, gameplay, fantasy, and the story, I can't find any faults in this game. The title is even adapted for the tastes of casual gamers, so a small mistake leading to death doesn't mean you have to replay the whole level. The game has the rewind feature that allows to undo failed jumps and stunts so you can try them again instantly. The story is very well integrated into the game, and you really start to care about the two princes. In fact, compared to its predecessor, The Two Thrones introduced the dual prince system, stealth kills, and chariot racing. This game, however, is better than Warrior Within, as you don't have to revisit old places and backtrack. Overall, a great experience to have even in 2025. 6. Devil May Cry 3. Devil May Cry 3, or DMC3, is an essential PlayStation 2 title. The game has impeccable gameplay, the combat system was fluid and engaging, the level design complemented the enemy placement, the story was engaging despite it not being a strong suit, and the arsenal of weapons that Dante had access to was phenomenal. And while the graphics might feel a little dated by today's standards, the art style and combat work together harmoniously to give players a game that still feels snappy and fun even now. At higher difficulties, DMC3 is a game where losing hours upon hours to get that SSS combo is an easy task. And if you're enjoying this video so far, let me know by hitting that like button. 5. Silent Hill 3. Looking back, it's easy to admit the PS2 is very limited technology-wise, and most of the games from the era won't have aged well in the graphics department. That said, there are a few that are an exception to this rule, with one of those titles being Konami's third installment in the Silent Hill series. Silent Hill 3 picks up the plotline laid out in the first game, with the protagonist being Harry's daughter instead of Harry himself. With a new game, Harry hopes the Order won't find her, but they do, and they plan for her to be the Mother of God. Dipping between the normal world and the twisted, rusted world of Silent Hill, the game comes with impressively detailed graphics that could arguably pass for that of a PS3 game, even by today's standards. Silent Hill 3's visuals are undeniably impressive. 4. God of War 2. While the first God of War game took the video game world by the throat, the sequel was where things really started to get good. God of War 2 is perhaps the most definitive title in the series. It took all the epic grandiosity of the first game and cranked it up beyond tolerance levels. Gamers' minds were blown by the awesome action series unfolding on screen, driven by the primary anti-hero Kratos. Continuing Kratos' story and his blood war against the Greek gods, players will hack and slash their way through the campaign with controls that still hold up. They have a primary weapon capable of producing combos with a secondary weapon that was somewhat innovative at the time, making the gameplay fast-paced and exciting. Technically, a game like God of War 2 shouldn't even exist. Its scale and enormity defy all logic, as if the player were trapped in the coolest fantasy movie ever made. For it to debut on a console such as the PS2 is an even greater feat. Since it maximized the machine's hardware to create such an impressive spectacle, it still holds up as one of the most amazing PS2 titles. 3. Burnout 3 Takedown. Burnout 3 Takedown is one of several timeless racing games on the PS2, and a particularly memorable one at that. It was a huge release in 2004, and the Burnout franchise could never quite replicate its success again, despite some close attempts with Paradise and Revenge. For those that haven't played a Burnout game, these racing games feature extremely high speeds and reward the player for risky driving and takedowns of opposing racers, without wrecking yourself, of course. This game easily rivals Grand Theft Auto 4 for the PS3 in terms of realism of the car models and environments. Most importantly, this game is pure adrenaline-fueled fun. The sound effects, especially the car engines revving, are also very well done in Burnout 3. There are certainly more beautiful racing games to look at in this modern era, but very few have produced such a fun and chaotic racing experience since Burnout 3 Takedown. 2. Tekken 5. Almost 20 years on from its release, Tekken 5 is still considered one of the best of this huge fighting game franchise. Many view Tekken 3 and Tekken 7 as the best of the bunch, but they cannot deny that Tekken 5 was monumental in changing the franchise. Tekken 4 was a commercial disaster, and the franchise subsequently needed something special to get things back on track, and so Tekken 5 was given extra backing and funding. Tekken 5 introduced improved graphics and animation, even adding in fire to levels to add more to the overall experience. Without even considering the rest of the game, Tekken 5's opening sequence is enough to still send goosebumps over to the hardcore Tekken fans. Tekken 5 released on arcade in 2004, but came to PlayStation 2 a year later and never looked back. It still holds up as a solid fighting game to this day. Before I get to the number 1 spot for this video, let me take you further down memory lane with a bonus entry. Soul Calibur 3. A fighting game developed by Namco. This game is notorious for being the most content-rich Soul Calibur game ever made. It features various single-player modes, museums, galleries, cutscene playback, and more. Soul Calibur 3 has an impressive amount of characters, even bringing back some that 2 had to cut out for whatever reason. It has an amazing story that sets huge events into motion that will impact the series going forward. Overall, I guess it's safe to say it's the best of the series. 1. Resident Evil 4. The original, of course. Resident Evil 4 was considered a groundbreaking masterpiece in gaming. It initially released on GameCube and PlayStation 2 in 2005, before making its way to various other consoles and eventually getting a remake in 2023. Despite the remake being a huge hit, however, many have argued that this already exceptional game didn't really need any form of remaster. Fans of the franchise got an incredible setting, a phenomenal plot, exceptional characters, and a vast array of weapons that could be mixed and matched for some amazing combos. Resident Evil 4 is perhaps Leon's greatest adventure, and while the remake reignited interest in the title, the original still stands tall as a wonderful adventure full of mystery, horror, and intrigue. For a game from the mid-noughties, Resident Evil 4 holds up pretty well in terms of graphics, controls, and overall presentation, as it moves the series toward action-focused combat. As a result, it is still seen as a revolutionary horror video game. It may have been an early port from the GameCube, but Resident Evil 4 will always be remembered as one of the best PS2 games of all time. What other PS2 games do you think still hold up to this day? Let me know your favorites in the comments section below. And if you enjoy gaming content and want more, be sure to check out the videos linked on screen.